How they hangin' dino dudes? It's me, the Media Raptor, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Raptor Reviews. Not only that, the 199th episode I've done. Yeah, I'm really that pathetic that I've actually wasted my life making nearly 200 episodes. Shut up, it's what I do with my life. If you haven't guessed by now, it's pretty obvious. We're going to do the 2009 movie, because it's not 2010 movie, because it's not really a sequel as much, of the Predator films, Predators. Now, when this movie came out, or was at least like released and all that, it was kind of a huge deal to me because I really wanted to see it. Excuse me. Like, this was a movie I was so excited for when I saw the trailers. I couldn't wait to see in theaters, and I never did. Don't totally remember why. I think it just never really worked out for me to go see it in theaters. And then I completely forgot about it. Then, a couple years ago, I was hanging out at this place called The Last Video Store, which is exactly what it sounds like. It was a legitimate store where you could still rent movies. They had it, I remembered, oh yeah, I'd never seen this one. Rented it, watched it, loved it. Excuse me. Then when I bought the Predator Ultimate Hunter Trilogy or whatever for like $10, got it, watched it again, still really enjoyed it. One thing I do have to say straight up about Predators that definitely does separate it from both Predator and Predator 2 is very much a lack of humor, so to say. Is that a bad thing? No, but I do want to bring this up. Predators tends to play things a lot more close to the chest. That's not the right way to say it. A lot darker, so to say. Where Predator and Predator 2 had really likable, good characters who fought for justice or to protect the innocent. This one, it is straight up. We have a Yakuza crime lord, an ex-assassin, a member of the drug cartel, a death row inmate, a Spenstaz soldier. We don't have good people. Not to say the characters are bad. In fact, these are probably some of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. But they are not good people, but they are interesting characters. And what I really like about this movie is it's not, oh, the Predators come to Earth to mess with us. It's they take them to this game reserve world to essentially hunt them there. And to me, that's pretty cool. I like these characters a lot. Like I said, they're pretty easy to understand why they'd be here. A Yakuza enforcer, ironically named Hanzo, although he fights with a sword. And that is kind of, now when I rewatched it, during one scene all I could think was, I need healing. Sorry, I'll never do that again. But I like the fact that we got a drug cartel enforcer, member of the Spenstaz, an ex-assassin, an ex-sniper, a death row inmate. These people that are kind of like, they're not like big, tough military guys. The Predators are like, yeah, these people are friggin' nuts. And we're gonna hunt them. And of course, we have our main character, Royce, who essentially kind of becomes the leader of this small group, trying to understand what is going on, why are we here, so on and so forth. So the characters are good. They are likable. It's not like you're sad when they go, but it's also not like, oh, okay, whatever, they're gone. But one thing that this movie does that the other two didn't was really give these characters good deaths. My favorite, hands down, has to be Hanzo's. Massive spoilers there, but what do you expect? If nobody died in a Predator movie, you're not doing it right. Alien vs. Predator. Because what he does is he straight up decides to fight like an actual Yakuza using a samurai sword, or whatever type of sword it was. I used to know a lot more about the actual types of swords. I've been doing some research on them, but I couldn't tell just by looking. And the Predator he's fighting decides, okay, let's do this the fair way then. Let's do this honorably. And they have a legitimate sword fight where, surprisingly, both of them die. Excuse me. To me, little touches like that are really cool. But I also like the new Predators. The Super Predator, as he was nicknamed in all the promotional stuff. In fact, the iPhone or iPod game I used to play based on this referred to him as Mr. Black for some reason. I love the design on him. I love the Falconeer Predator, who's using these weird drones to track people down and all that. And I love the Tracker Predator, and I love I think they're called Hellhounds. I'm just curious. I want to look that up. Hang on. Did they ever give them a name? I remember the no, they're just called Predator Dog. Okay, the new ones were called Hellhounds, but yeah, the yeah, pretty much they just sort of referred to them as Predator Dogs or Flusher Hounds. So yeah, they look awesome. They're creepy and they're awesome at the same time. I love all the spines, like the all the spines and spikes and the way they're designed, and they look just terrifying, and they're even deadlier in real life. Once again, we get more details on the whole like hierarchy of predator culture.
Like how clearly these guys would be considered bad blood predators. If you read the comics, that'll make more sense. If you see the new movie, it'll make more sense. But actually, speaking about the comics, I know this would really annoy a lot of people, but to me, I don't have as much of an issue with it. A lot of these characters do have a really interesting backstory that were released in small prequel comics. And the graphic novel is only like $10 now, and it also includes a sort of sequel to this movie put into comic form, with an awesome Goro looking predator. However, as I've said with the previous two movies, while the idea of bringing them to a new planet and all that is different, and the predators themselves are different, it still is kind of predictable as to what's going to happen. But at the same time, this one really kind of decides to do a lot less of the build up a mystery as to what these things are, and just go, okay, let's kill some people. Come on, let's get to the killing. And this, excluding The Predator, which technically I haven't reviewed yet, so I can say this, this is the goriest Predator movie I have seen, or that is, I've reviewed so far. Okay, yeah, The Predator is way gorier, but at the time, this was by far the goriest, with the most spine ripping, that being the coolest effect in the entire movie, decapitations, just total mutilation. The Predator, like the Hellhounds, can take hundreds of bullets. It all looks awesome. And really, the story is quite interesting, this idea of how do we survive, how do we get off. It's a pretty basic story. The only real complaint I have with it is one of the characters they had set up is so cool, and the comics did explain him more, but I wish they had used him more. And that is Lawrence Fishburne's character. He was named... Shoot, I forget his name off the top of my head. Hang on. Noland. Essentially, he's been on the planet for a long time. He knows how these creatures work, and it's awesome. Like, it just... Like, he's essentially this survivor on this planet who's kind of crazy. Like, I'm the one that got away. The one that survived. And all that is awesome. They just don't really use him that much, which is an issue. But, hey, take what you can get. On the subject of acting, well, because I just mentioned the actor's name, all the actors are great in this. I don't really have much to say on it, because again, they're just really good. Everyone does a good job. Special props to, what's his name? Hang on. Louis Ozawa Chengchin. I'm pretty sure I messed that up. The guy who plays Hanzo, he plays a very straight-faced character more than anyone and does it really well. And the other character I want to give a shout-out to is Catrulio, who is played by Danny Trejo. And Danny Trejo is always awesome. In fact, the script, when it was written back in 1994, described Truchello as a Danny Trejo-type character. Ironic that they got him, and it's awesome. I know I've already mentioned this, but the special effects are freaking amazing. The costumes look great, the planet looks awesome and alien, the CG hounds look great, there's a lot of practical gore and there's some CG gore, but most of it's practical and it looks awesome. Yeah, when it comes down to it, I can recommend Predators. In fact, I give it a solid 3 Raptor Claws out of 4. It is not my favorite of the 3. I think that would have to be Predator 2, followed by, and then 1 and Predators are tied. But yeah, I really do enjoy this movie, and I can highly recommend it to people if you enjoyed the other movies. I can also highly recommend the comics, and, well, any of them really. The comics are all awesome from what I've read so far. Anyhow, dudes, till next time is the 200th episode. It's gonna be special, it's gonna be weird, and it's gonna be awesome. But until then, keep cool, and I'll see all you dino dudes around. Later.